Scotty, first things first, there's an air of disappointment in that one, even though circumstances early on in the game, you probably think there was a win in some ways out of it.
Yeah, it's frustrating that we really made it difficult for ourselves, discipline-wise, and then what's more frustrating is that was a huge target for us to keep the penalty count low. So that's a massive area of growth for us. It's happened a few times this year where we've talked about it and talked about being disciplined, and then we haven't gone out there and delivered. And then it was an incredible show of guts and determination to get back into the game. We at half time we set the target of getting at least one bonus point. And there was a point in the game where we felt we could have gone on and won it, which is a massive credit to everyone in the changing room, the guys that came off the bench and made a huge impact. So pretty mixed emotions.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but if it's discussed so much, what do you put it down to if you can't get that discipline right early on?
It's individual responsibility, I think, and we've got a lot of depth in the squad now, and I can imagine that it's going to get to the stage where you won't play if you don't do your job, and that's sport for you. So I'm sure guys will click on pretty quickly.
What was the conversation like out there after, I guess, the yellow card to Dan Kelly? Because you're down 2 men, and it's half an hour in, and you're 28-0 down. What's the conversation among the boys at that point?
We obviously, and it was 2 backs that went down, so a lot of it was around our set piece defence. Bringing our 9 into the back's defensive line, and talking about how we couldn't put as much line speed on them because we're obviously short of numbers. So I think we were a bit slow to adapt after Kobus's red cards. They cut us a couple of times at set piece, which we're not happy about, and I'm not happy about as obviously one of the leaders in defence in the back. So I feel we could have adapted a lot quicker to Kobus's red and then Dan's yellow. But it is a difficult situation. I think what was disappointing was we weren't physical enough in some areas, even though we were down to 13. Even our one-on-one tackles, which doesn't matter how many guys are on the field, if someone runs at you, you still have to be physical. I think that dropped off a little bit, but obviously we improved a hell of a lot going into the second half, so that's encouraging.
In short, what changes for you from 12 to 13?
It's more just where you stand off set piece. Your job's really the same. A little bit more space to defend, but you're just one out. You just have to be a little bit more patient. Defensively, sometimes there's a little bit more space. There's a lot more going on. You have a bit more time to see what's happening. You don't come up quite as hard maybe as the guys inside you, and it's not too hard. I've played a lot of rugby there, so in terms of switching between the two, I'm happy doing it.
Finally, Steve's talked a lot, the players have talked a lot about having that steel not going away. Is that the best example for people outside of the environment to see what has been discussed?
I think so. I think a lot of teams with less steel would have gone on to lose by 50, 60, and very, very easy to find the excuse of, we were down to 13 at one point, we were down to 14 at one point, they're European champions, they're Premiership champions. No one's going to think ill of us if we lose by 50 or 60, but we were complete opposite of that, which is really encouraging. I've got no doubt that everyone out there wants to give their all for the team, and by coming back into that game, we give them a bit of a scare, which was our target at halftime.
I've got to ask as well, the world's biggest and slowest dummy to score.
I can't even remember. I was kind of seeing stars, I was knackered, and they just opened up for me, so I'll take your word for it if it was that big and slow.